Now it's up.
You ready to go?
We're go.
I talked to Jim about all these.
All right, well, let's get started.
Okay, here
We're
we
gonna
go.
get started with the Administration Legal Affairs Committee, Wednesday, March 12th, 2025, at 5 p.m. 2.0 prayer. I'll go ahead and do that. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for such a beautiful day today and yesterday. And we
It's on his way.
ask you to help us with this meeting today and discuss the things that we need to discuss and move the county forward. We just ask you to make it known for the public to get out and vote on April 1st or before here. Very important, even though it is a primary, or not a primary, but a off-year election. It's very important that people do that, Lord. We just ask you to help us again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, 3.0, approval of agenda.
I so moved to approve.
In a second, Mr. Monroe, thank you. You did get it. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. 4.0, approval of meeting minutes from the February 12th, 2025 meeting.
Are you approving?
Okay, did you get that one statement clarified yet?
Oh, yes. I,
Because there was
Mr. Jovis brought to my attention that on page 4, it cut off. It said that he informed the next meeting is scheduled for, I filled in there, Monday, March 10th at 2 p.m.
Okay, just wanted that in there so it didn't look like it was. Okay. All right, with that addition, we'll vote on that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved. All right, next up, 5.0, approval of claims. I have before me here a total of $43,470.13.
I move to approve.
Okay, thank you. And a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. And 6.0, public comments. Anybody else is here? So we'll keep moving. 7.0.
Copy, like I normally do, completely
Okay.
lost track of some time. So those claims that you just heard, 43,000,
Mhm.
mine were $101. So let's move on to the financial report here, which I sent out Saturday night, I think.
Yeah.
The front page, again, I just want to point out that I'm just kind of added that extra couple of lines showing the difference versus the previous month and then a cumulative total. So you can kind of see it went down a little bit, and I just got checks today. We've gone down another 32,000 for March. So I'm not really worried about that. Again, it's kind of cyclical, but I just kind of wanted you to have that. That's why I started adding that there.
Do you know which category has gone down?
This one was income tax, and
Income
that's
tax.
usually quarterly. So yeah, I'm not concerned yet.
Yeah, okay.
Because actually, as I said, that the sales taxes actually went up. So the income went down, sales went up. So
Okay.
they kind of balance each other for the most part.
Good.
Going to the totals page, the county funds for the month of February were down 943,000 and change over January, which is only 3.28%. So well under what even 12 would be. So again, cyclical timing, no big property tax influx dollars. The page with all the yellow, again, all the investments, 14 of them matured during February, almost $66,000 of interest across several funds, including Highway. Highway actually chose to invest a little bit during their time where they're not usually spending dollars. So that was good. At the end of the month, there are an additional 24 investments worth $9.566 million on behalf of 12 funds by the end of the month. I just did 2 more today for $500,000. And as rates move favorably, I'm going to just keep doing it. So I didn't think we would have rates remaining this high this long, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Does anybody have any questions about this report or anything you see on it?
I just wanted to comment, the highway department has really enjoyed your guidance on some of those investments.
Brian asked a lot of questions.
Mr. Jorgensen and I, on that committee, hear about the positive things that's been doing every month. So it's really nice when we can collaborate like that.
Yeah, it's great. I think that I try to talk about it to everybody if I can, but They typically have not been a department that has done that because, sometimes the motor fuel taxes weren't always coming as regularly as they do, but then it makes sense during the winter months when, they don't have big projects to go to just sock that money away. So I was pleased to know that they want to do that too. So thank you. Okay. All good on the financial report? All right. I just wanted to give you just a little bit of information about the NACO conference that Ms. Baker and I and Mr. Newton also attended. I can't tell you enough about how good this is. I mean, it allows county leaders to actually inform national policy, your boots on the ground with federal advocacy. You're hearing about common problems and solutions all over the country. We get to hear about best practices. We're speaking with subject matter experts in our field. So it's my sales pitch for if you can go to this thing, go to this thing. One entire day I spent with my committee, my policy committee, which is, it's a long one. I can even remember the whole title myself. Finance, Pensions, and Intergovernmental Affairs Policy. So it sounds like what it is, mostly money, but we also deal with elections. So it's really kind of a wide-ranging set of responsibilities that we see. We had 2 policy resolutions that were forwarded to the national level. Some of the things that we got to hear about on my committee, one were taxation of VRBOs. I know that's something that we've been talking about though, so we got a little bit of insight there that I can kind of run with, I think, and help that discussion a little bit. And then I don't know if you recall me discussing the Tyler versus Hennepin decision in Minnesota, which has some implications potentially for homeowner equity in properties that are sold through tax deed. We haven't encountered that yet here in Stephenson County because when we dispose of those properties, it's usually so far below the amount of what the taxes are that are due that it's not really consideration. But this decision spoke to if you are auctioning off a piece of property that the homeowner has a good deal of equity in and you get more than what you're due for taxes, then legally now you have to remit that back to the homeowner, even if they've lost that property. Yeah, it was a unanimous Supreme Court decision, which never happens. So anyway, we're not involved so much there, but this is why this is so good, this committee, and there are 9 others. There's something that everybody here could dive deep into and get something out of. So that's my, again, sales pitch. Okay, so back to property tax information. Very little at this time. The senior tax deferral deadline was March 1st. I had 3 this year. There's a 200% increase over last year. So right now I'm in the process of reviewing those. There's a lot of documentation that has to be provided. So once I get that done, I'll send that to the Department of Revenue. And still taking prepayment of property taxes. Some more people have been filtering and doing that through April 20th. And I will be out of the office on April 17th hosting the Zone 4 Treasurers Association here in Freeport. So exciting for me, anyway. Any questions?
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Let's move on to 7.2 County Clerk.
Been pretty busy in the office, even though the low turnout for the election. Still lots going on in our office at this time. Seeing a huge increase in people coming in for vital records, marriage and birth certificates for the Real ID going in. So that has been an increase in our office, working on the statement of economic interest, and then doing what I can on the tax ascension side before I get the final multiplier from Angie in the state. I'm busy with that. As far as elections, as of close of business today, we had 646 early voters and 801 vote by mail ballots processed. That's a little over 5% voter turnout. When you compare that to other years, like I said, 2019, little over 9% turnout. 2021, a little more than 17% turnout. In 2023, 21%. So we have seen an increase, this week versus last week, and as we get closer to the election day, anticipate that picking up. We loaded all of the information to our machines on Monday, and next Tuesday, I know some people have questions about the machines, and usually no one shows up for the public test, but there is a public test that will take place on March 18th at 10 a.m. if you know of anyone that is interested in how the machines work. Say one, I guess another concern with elections is we've been getting questions about write-in candidates. It's not up to our office to advertise and publicize write-in candidates. It's up to the candidates that are write-in candidates to get that word out. We do have the list on our website. We have the list available if someone requests it. But vote by mail ballots, that list doesn't go out in there. It's not up for us to advertise that, but it is available if someone has questions about write-ins. Any questions?
Okay, seeing none, thank you. All right, let's go to 7.3, supervisor of assessments.
I am done with 2024. Done.
I'm just done.
I'm just waiting on the state. I sent off my abstract and things like that, and to roll over into our system and stuff like that, I at least have to get confirmation that I have to send it the abstract via email and via snail mail. So I got confirmation that they did get it via email, and then they do it. They look it over all and confirm everything by snail mail, and then I have to stay in 2024 in case there's any questions or whatever. So that is what I'm waiting for. Hopefully, when I get back, I will be out of the office next week because the annual conference for all the assessors, all 101 of us. Cook has their own little state by themselves, that because a lot of the rules that go for the assessors doesn't apply to them, so they have their own little conference. So I will be out of the office and finding out all kinds of new information and what legislation has passed and all of that. So hopefully when I get back, then I can flip the system, and then it's on to Jasmine's part of that. The only other thing is sitting and waiting. The only other thing that I have to say is I did get asked to speak at the IAGO Spring Conference, which is very outside of my comfort zone to stand in front of a whole bunch of people, but I guess according to the people around me, I have become an expert on this, so they decided to ask me because we are rare in the county. Most counties have qualified township assessors that do the job. In our county, we have one and me. So all the other townships, I take care of them. It spurred on as the person from King County asked me to speak, but the largest county besides Cook is, see, this is why I get nervous. DuPage, thank you. DuPage County, their biggest township, for the first time ever, does not have a township assessor running. So the CCAO has no idea how to deal with it. So that's how it became asked me to present, since our county has dealt with, unfortunately, that problem. And it sounds like there's many more that are gonna come up to not run. So then it's gonna be, you have to, like with Stephanie and Jasmine, they can get on the ballot, be elected at anything. So in an assessor, in order to even be a township assessor, you have to take 6 classes and take a test and be certified even to be a township assessor. So like you can't pull anybody off the street and go, here, you do the job. So that's the biggest thing I'm going to
Don't be nervous. You'll be
Yeah.
okay.
When,
Yeah.
when is that,
You're
when
gonna
is
be
that
okay.
conference you're doing?
It's in, May 15th is when I
May
have to,
15th?
yeah, May 15th is
cool.
when I have to go and speak, so,
That would be awesome for you.
You're gonna be okay.
thank you. Brooke.
If you need any help, just.
I'm just not a public speaker, like, I'm fine with everybody here, but to
Right.
stand in
Right.
front, but.
I'm more than happy to.
I'm not a
I
public
was the
speaker either,
speech
but
coach.
look, just don't look out. It's just,
Focus on the
That's what
topic.
I do.
I'm hoping
just-
that I can just discuss the topic, and then
Yeah.
when people start firing questions, I'm really good at that, because I know the information, it's just trying to get it out to them. So if they fire me the questions, I'll have all the answers, but
you're gonna be okay.
thanks,
You're
bro.
gonna be-
I
You got it.
appreciate
You
that.
got
You're gonna be great, girl.
You got
Thank
this.
you. They say you
Alright.
don't grow unless you get out of your comfort zone, so
That's true.
Sometimes you have to,
Yep.
and
I am doing it.
Yep.
We're sitting here, right?
So other than that, then that's my next big thing. So, and I will just be easy nicely into 25. So.
you got it, girlfriend. You got it.
Any questions for her? Yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Just out of curiosity, what do you think that lack of certified assessors applying, running, availability is due to?
Because, okay, when I first became an assessor, you could get on the ballot, okay? And then your township or your county would pay for your classes. So how I got on here is, short story is I cut Ron's hair. So I was a hairdresser, and then he asked me to be here. So then he paid, because you have an educational fund, so he paid for my first 5 classes to be certified, and you only needed 5 back 20 some years when I did it. And then they took a little final test, not to designate you to the CCAO, but you took a little test so you could do this on your own. So then, being the single mom I was, then Ron encouraged me, since I live in Ogle County, to be the Forreston Township assessor. So then I was qualified to be on that ballot once I got it. So, but then they were finding out that you, unfortunately with politics, you get influencers. So let's just say that Joe Blow decided to get on, had enough votes, but decided that he was gonna assess his friend's property, not quite as much as, and there are guidelines, don't get me wrong, but if nobody's paying attention and whatever, or I got some of the other townships in Ogle, and I had like a tiny little box of information when I should be having a lot of information. So then they made it harder. So then you have to get the classes. Now there's 6 classes. There's actually an ethics class that you have to take. Believe it or not. It is. It is. So you have to take an ethics class, and then you have to be certified. And the classes are like $400 a piece, and then usually they're not around here. So then that comes out of your own expenses in order to be on the ballot.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. It's a shift in the order of events.
Exactly. And of course, someone decided one person messed it up. So now it makes it harder for the rest of us. So then there's less people that want to dig that out of their money in order to, and in some places it is only a part-time gig on top of it. So
Makes sense. Well, thank you.
you're welcome.
All righty, let's go 7.4, County Administrator.
Thank you. Again, the city notified us on Sunday that the meeting for Monday was going to be canceled. I believe that we are still trying to reschedule that.
They have no plans on rescheduling
March, okay. The UCCI Legislative Reception Educational Seminars will be next week on the 19th and 20th. Mr. Modero, Chairman Holmes, and myself are attending that. Just moments before the meeting, I did send out the UCCI annual salary and fringe survey that we just got the electronic version. The hard copy was in the mail about a day or 2 ago. So that is now available. That's always a handy tool for many things. So currently working on an upcoming employment contract for Director of Building and Zoning. Her renewal is coming up. I attended the ILCMA regional meeting on February 20th, and the next one is being hosted by me on April 17th. So I'm looking forward to that. We try to circulate through the region so that not everyone travels all the time. So next land bank meeting is on March 26th. The county employee and covered spouses and over 18 dependents wellness screenings are set for April 2nd, 3rd, and 9th. We condensed it down to 3 sites this year and changed 2 of the sites to try to get better turnout at each site as opposed to the 4. This morning, Mr. Bell from ICRMT, our risk management consultant, came and spoke to everyone at the department head meetings, kind of just gave his annual overview of services available to everyone at no cost through our liability, and went over the online training portal and the things that are services that department heads can use through them. We also talked about the final fieldwork audit date. Will be done the week of the 25th of April. So those dates are approaching, encouraging everyone to get those things in sooner rather than later. Next Greater Freeport Partnership meeting will be March 7th. No, sorry, their board meeting is March 26th. Sorry. I'm like March 7th. No, yes. So that is all I have.
All right, let's go to 7.5, IT manager.
Nothing to report. Geez, I don't even know where to start. A lot of stuff going on. The grants hit. We're getting stuff day in and day out. I completed the circuit clerk portion of their grant yesterday. State's attorney stuff has yet to come in. Probation is in the midst of being their updates. Got a lot of parts moving. I'm afraid I'm going to miss something here, but I've got a lot of equipment on order to upgrade some of our stuff. We're trying to do grant. We're trying to upgrade some of our infrastructure. Just a lot of moving parts. And unfortunately, and this is no fault of anybody, every project, even the elevator, needs the IT guy. So I am dumbfounded some days on like how everything ties back to us at some point. So the one thing that I've learned from this, and again, this is no fault of anybody, I think this is the first time in all my years in the county that so much is going on all at once. I'm hoping eventually there's a slowdown, but it's good that we're making changes and we're making upgrades. I think for future purposes, I'm going to probably ask the department heads if they have a project they're looking to do, like when people are getting their budgets approved or like when they're doing improvements. I have no, they go through the budgeting process for that. I don't pay attention to all the other departments. And then these projects come up like the media room or things of that nature that require IT focus, a lot of it. So just from a scheduling standpoint or whatnot, just because right now I feel like we got everything going everywhere. So in some things were time sensitive. We also have a 911 project going on with Central Square and the jail and the sheriff and everything else. So everything is just like the perfect storm. Again, not complaining, just super busy. There's stuff everywhere you turn on top of our normal break fix stuff. And then Microsoft goes and puts an end to life on Windows 10, which now means that anything that's Windows 10 has to be Windows 11 by October. Mm-hmm. So we're working through that with departments and, just everywhere I turn, we've got something. I didn't do a report because I'd probably spend a week writing it. Yeah, so that's what we got going on. The media room, I think, is just about done. We're waiting for some patch cables to finish the patch panel on the back of that, but we ran into some issues there too. The housings in the floor did not have HDMI connectors, and the manufacturer did not sell them. So we thought we ran into an issue to get that done properly, but 3 Rock has a 3D printer that they house, and they were able to remake faceplates that would allow us to change the keystones to make everything work with those things. So we got those in, and I think everything's up and functional. The other problem is we're growing so fast, we're kind of outgrowing our infrastructure, so we're having to make changes on the back end as we run into issues like not enough IP addresses for the amount of devices we have on there. So we're growing fast. It's a good problem to have, but you just kind of fix the problem when you run into it. The sheriff's department was running out of IPs the other day, and we noticed that there was like 40 addresses that we could free up to give them so they stopped running into the issue. And there's just different things that when things settle down, we can look and make sure everything's properly set up and programmed. But right now, we're just reacting along with being proactive. So, and it's just been busy. So again, I just want to point out, you guys will see like our IT managed services, that's gonna look inflated because we got so much going on right now. My hope is that throughout the year, it'll even out. But that's if more projects don't arise or come into play or whatnot. So try to forecast the best that we could as far as that goes, but there's always unforeseen circumstances or something that happens that requires something to be replaced. So I did let the county know that the normal response times will not be the normal response times for a little bit, because when we schedule a day for a project, we try to hammer out as much as we can to get that done so we don't have bits and pieces of everything going in multiple places. So does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
You're doing a great job.
I was just gonna say that.
You know what, you're doing a great job trying to manage it.
Yeah.
You and I've worked together before, and you're a boss when it comes to that.
Would it have helped if we didn't give you all that extra money at budget time?
We haven't even, I've got stuff ordered, but I haven't even gotten to the nitty gritty of all we need to do or want to do. We're still, the grant's a beautiful thing, but man, is it hectic. Because then once you get the billing in, everything I order, I have to make sure is in the circuit clerk's name because it's her grant, and we have to make sure everything filters properly, and then you got to worry about deliveries. And we had TVs come from Best Buy at the end of the day yesterday that we're trying to. So the hallway to the county boardroom has two 85-inch TVs, a 60-inch TV that we have to put electric in, and I say we, that's Tony. I don't mess with electric. But we have to get them up and we have to get them working, but we're replacing a lot of the letter boards and stuff where they can be interactive and not interactive, but we can change it on the fly and things of that nature. So it really is getting modernized and things are doing great, but just a lot of work involved as far as what's happening. So I just hit 2 years like a week ago. And I feel like it's been 5, but I don't want to say that. I just mean with all the amount of stuff that we've gotten done in the last 2 years, it's been a good run. So Stephenson County is heading definitely in the right direction, and that's not to toot my horn. The whole thing, county board being on board and everything that we're doing, we're making changes way more than we ever had in my tenure here ever. So with that being said, I'm proud of the work, but I know it's not done. And as you can tell, I'm going crazy by leaving phones in the ceiling and everything else. So.
Nate, I got a question.
Okay.
On those grants,
Yeah.
was there any money in there for this, I would say, back end support with 3 Rock and any
I did put some stuff in there. The thing that you have to do with these grants is you have to be able to tie it to the courts, because it's a courthouse technology grant.
Okay.
So I did put some of the main routers in the courthouse that I had this grant cover, but I mean, it has to tie to the courts in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
So I did do the upgrades we could do through that, but they won't just give us money for infrastructure for like the health department or other places.
Was it all hardware grants, or was it also
No,
the support as well to get it hooked up? Things like that?
They do allow labor in there, but they get a little particular about the labor.
Okay.
So we did put some labor in
Okay.
there that helped, but we're also finding that it's above forecasted as well. I think we ran through some of the labor that the grants already paid.
Okay.
So, you know, you just run into issues, and Windows 11, I didn't think it would throw many people for a loop, but apparently we're retraining people on how to use Windows because it is different. It essentially works the same, but it's different. So it's just you know, just getting through it, and we'll get there. Hopefully you guys don't fire me once we
No,
get there.
you're,
but-
no, that'll never happen.
No.
Not until it's all done.
Not happening.
No.
So, but yeah, that's just plenty of projects. And the good news is once we get to a leveled off point, we can use this grant to really plan for the future. You know, if they keep doing it, we can always get ahead of the game, and that's what we're trying to do. But unfortunately, and I really don't keep trying to bring up the guy that was here before, but there's just a lot of infrastructure that wasn't updated, and then what was purchased wasn't purchased properly. It was purchased properly, but it wasn't the right stuff. So we're still trying to work through and use some of that as well. So we're moving, and as we move, there's vendors that have upgrades as well. When vendors have upgrades, they become our upgrades, and so there's just a lot of stuff going on.
I'm afraid you're gonna get bored, Nate, once it's all done.
I will never be bored. I will never be bored.
Well, we
So,
realize your efforts and we appreciate it. So, thank you.
thank you. And I'd like to throw out kudos to 3 Rock, because if I didn't have them,
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd probably be old.
they're amazing.
Yes, they've been very helpful. So
All right, great. Let's go to 7.6, strategic planning, effective government focus group.
We met on Monday. Sheriff Sobel was kind enough to stop by and give some specific comments, but also just to give a different perspective on some of the things we've been talking about. One of the biggest things we ended up talking about was the delay that's forced in a lot of the grant searches and whatnot by the budget policy, which we talked about a month ago. And so by the time we go through all the steps, from the first moment of applying for a grant, we're about 30 to 60 days behind the actual application process because of all the hoops as a government we have to jump through. And the sheriff said, and Jasmine reiterated, while we've had a lot of vendors that are willing to work with us, that number is getting less and less. They're not willing to cut us a break just because they understand the situation. It's not a problem yet, but it sounds like it could become one before long. So we talked about a few different solutions. We're still working on that revision of the budget policy. We'll see. We want to get some other opinions on that, but specifically as it relates to applying for grants and can we give more autonomy to department heads and X, Y, and Z. One thing we talked about in particular is making a distinction in the process of matching versus non-matching grants, and the applying for a grant versus what to actually do with the grant funding. So just where our thought process is. We also took the opportunity to talk about the succession planning, and then as I mentioned last month, that's kind of our next project to try to come up with a policy for. We talked about trying to read my writing. The vehicle checkout form. And as we're going through the budget policy, we're just noticing some things and we don't know why they exist. And so we're trying to keep an eye open for some of that stuff as well, as long as we're there. And kind of going around the table, we couldn't imagine any significant reason why it should need to be as lengthy in its existence at all. We also talked about just an open question. Is there a plan for a follow-up kind of check-in on all of these strategic planning categories? We know it's been a little over a year since we had the meeting. We only adopted it last summer, but just kind of thinking ahead, is there a follow-up plan?
Yeah, so my idea was to make sure that we get everybody back together before the budget policy is approved, which will be in May, I believe, so next month is what I'm looking for. Just get an update from everyone, see what's working, what's not working. See if we need to shift gears or if we need to get, can't call the guy's name, get you back in here, Eric, right? Just to see where everybody's at with it. Ideally, I'd love to have 2026 budget reflect all of the work that's been done so far.
But yeah, that was, it was really nice having the sheriff there just to, again, get a different perspective on a lot of the things we've been talking about.
Sounds good. Good job on that. So are you working on a policy then for some of these grant writing things on kind of a standardized?
We're trying to
thing?
edit and streamline what's in existence. We, as we've talked about, we're really not in the mood to reinvent anything.
Right.
We just want to modify and make it practical, especially as it relates to timeline and efficiency for the department heads. They've got other things on their plate besides all of the paperwork just to allow them to do their job.
Okay.
And so we're looking to maybe cut some pieces, tweak some pieces, and with the information of how it is practically applied, make the policy reflect that. And the parts that have been ignored, ask why they've been ignored, and if we can get rid of them.
Maybe they're not needed, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Get rid of them.
oh, great, good job. Okay. We're good, okay, there's no old business, no new business. How about any comments from committee members? Seeing none. Yeah, did you have something, Jim? No, okay, all right, you looked at me. All right, 11.0 public comments, nobody's here. How about 12.0 adjournment?
Executive session.
What's that? There's no executive session.
That's what the.
That was last
Jeez
month.
Louise, I was looking like, okay.
That was last month.
Then I make a motion, I was like, wait, hold on a minute.
She has her own special.
I do, well, it's always the same, because it's always a,
I will second.
You got a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks, everybody.